Hello, everyone, my dear brothers and sisters, my fellow travelers on this winding road of life. Let me ask you, do you know who you are? Not the name they call you, not the title you carry, not the face you show the world, but who you are when the night is still and the noise has died down. Because, my love, to be alive is a gift, but to be aware of that life, oh, that is power. That is the moment you start merely existing and start being. You see, consciousness is not just about opening your eyes in the morning. It's about opening your mind, opening your spirit, stretching out your hands and saying, I am here, I am present, I matter. Oh, yes, existence is a thunderclap, a drumbeat, a mighty river that carves its way through mountains. You were not placed here to shrink, to cower, to merely whisper your name into the void. No, child. You were meant to roar. You were meant to stand in the fullness of your being and say, I am. My dear brothers and sisters, I ask you today, have you ever stopped to listen to the sound of your own breath? Have you ever placed a hand over your heart and felt the steady rhythm beneath your palm? That, my love, is life whispering to you. That is existence, humming its melody through your bones. But to truly live, to truly step into the vast and boundless power within you, you must do more than breathe, more than move. You must wake up. Awareness is power. The moment you recognize your own existence, the moment you become conscious of who you are, where you stand, and what you carry within you, a shift begins. It is a shift that no man, no storm, no darkened night can take from you. Because the power of your being is not in the hands of the world. It is in you. You see, too many people walk this earth asleep. Their eyes are open, their bodies move, their lips form words, but their souls are curled up in the corner, waiting for permission to rise. And why? Because someone told them they were not enough. Because life, in its hardness, pressed down on them so long they forgot how to stand tall. Because the world built walls around them and whispered, stay small. But I tell you now, no more. The day you become aware is the day you reclaim yourself. It is the day you stop letting the world write your story and take the pen into your own hands. It is the moment you realize that you are not just another name, not just another face in the crowd. You are here, you are alive, you are necessary. And that, my love, is power. Oh yes, power is not found in gold or in titles, not in the loud voices of men who think they own the sky. Real power is knowing yourself. Real power is standing in the truth of who you are and saying, I am worthy, I am enough, I exist on purpose. And when you know that, when you feel that, when you carry that truth in your very bones, there is not a single force in this world that can break you. But understand this, awareness is not a thing you stumble upon. It is not handed to you in a golden box. No, it is a choice, a daily, moment-by-moment choice to open your eyes, open your heart, open your mind. It is the courage to peel back the layers, to look at yourself fully, to embrace every scar, every wound, every triumph, and still say, I am whole. Because awareness is not just seeing the good, it is seeing everything, and still standing tall. And yes, I know it is not always easy to wake up. Sometimes the weight of life makes you want to close your eyes again, to slip back into the quiet comfort of not knowing, not feeling, not seeing. But, my dear, do not let this world lull you back to sleep. Do not let fear or pain or the memory of past mistakes keep you from claiming the power of your own presence. Because the truth is, once you wake up, truly wake up. You cannot go back. You cannot pretend you are small when you have seen the vastness of your own spirit. You cannot silence yourself when you have heard the echo of your own voice. You cannot dim your light when you have felt the fire within you. So, my love, step into that power. Be present in your own life. Be conscious of every breath, every step, every moment that is given to you. The world will try to distract you, to pull you away from yourself, to drown you in noise, but you must hold fast to your awareness like a torch in the dark. Because when you are aware, you are alive. And when you are alive, truly alive, there is nothing you cannot do. Now go on and wake the world with the power of your presence. My dear brothers and sisters, let me tell you something that the world may have tried to make you forget. You are not an accident, not a mistake, not a fleeting shadow, not a moment that slipped into existence unnoticed. No, my love, you are here because you were meant to be. You were placed upon this earth with purpose, carved into the fabric of time with intention. And the sooner you believe that, the sooner you will rise into the fullness of your being. Too many people move through life as if they are apologizing for their own existence. They shrink themselves, make themselves small, try not to take up too much space, as if they are an inconvenience to the world. But hear me now. You do not need permission to exist. You do not need the world to approve of you before you stand tall in your own presence. The sun does not ask before it shines. The ocean does not beg before it roars. The stars do not whisper before they light up the night, and neither should you. There is a space in this universe, a space that was made for you and only you. No one else can fill it. No one else can take your place. The world may try to tell you otherwise. It may try to convince you that you're replaceable, that you're just another face in the crowd, that your presence is not necessary. But let me tell you something. The universe does not make mistakes. And if you are here, breathing, living, standing in this moment, then you are meant to be. Oh, I know there are weight of days when you've doubted this. Days when the weight of the world sat heavy on your shoulders, when the voices of others made you question your own worth. I know there have been moments when you looked in the mirror and wondered, do I matter? Does anyone see me? And I am here to tell you, yes, yes you matter. Yes, you are seen. Yes, your existence is a thread woven into the great tapestry of life, and without you it would be incomplete. You see, existence is not just about living and dying. It is about being fully, unapologetically, fearlessly yourself. It is about stepping into the light of your own truth and saying, I am here. I am worthy. I belong. Because the moment you claim your place in this world, the moment you stop questioning whether you are enough and start knowing that you are, that is the moment you become unstoppable. But my love, you must believe it first. No one can give you that belief. No one can hand you your worth on a silver platter. You must own it. You must carry it in your heart like a sacred flame, never letting it be extinguished by doubt, by fear, by the voices of those who do not see your light. Because the truth is, some people will try to dim you. Some people will look at you and see only what they want to see. But their blindness does not make you invisible. Their ignorance does not erase you. You are not here by accident. You are not placed on this earth to merely exist, to simply take up space, to move through life unnoticed. You were born to live, to breathe, to create, to love, to stand in your truth without hesitation. You were made with the same hands that carved the mountains, with the same breath that stirred the oceans. with the same fire that burns in the stars. You were made with intention, and if the universe in all its infinite wisdom decided that the world needed you, then who are you to doubt it? Who are you to question whether you are worthy of taking up space, of speaking your truth, of living boldly and without apology? So, my dear, stand tall, hold your head high, walk with the knowledge that you are not an accident, not a mistake, not something that just happened. You are a deliberate creation, a necessary presence, a soul that was meant to be. And when you truly believe that, when you carry that truth in your heart, nothing can stop you from becoming all that you were meant to be. Now go on and take your place in the world. It has been waiting for you. Life is not simply about waking up in the morning, stepping out of bed and moving through the hours as if they belong to someone else. No, my love, life is not just something that happens to you. It is something you must step into, something you must claim, because presence is not automatic. It is a choice to show up fully, to be awake in your own life, to refuse to live as if you are merely passing through. Oh yes, there are many who exist without truly being. They move like ghosts through their own days, eyes open but unseeing, hearts beating but untouched by the rhythm of life. They are present in body but absent in spirit, lost in the noise and the rush, in the endless cycle of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's worries. But my dear, listen to me now. You were not made to drift. You were not placed here to be a spectator in your own story. You see, the greatest tragedy is not in dying. It is in never having lived at all. It is in letting the days slip through your fingers like water, in waiting for the right time, the right moment, the right circumstances to begin truly showing up. But I ask you, if not now, then when? When will you finally allow yourself to be fully here, fully alive, fully awake to the beauty of your own existence? Because presence is not about the big moments alone. It is not just for celebrations and victories, not just for the milestones that the world deems important. No, presence is in the small things, in the laughter that lingers in the air, in the warmth of the sun on your skin, in the quiet moments when you hear your own breath and realize, I am here, I am alive. Oh, but I know the world is full of distractions. It would pull at you, demand your attention, try to make you believe that everything else is more important than this moment, this breath, this very second that is passing. Even as we speak, it will try to steal your presence, keep you chasing, keep you running towards something that never quite arrives. But I tell you now, if you do not stop and be here, be now, be fully yourself, you will wake up one day and wonder where your life has gone. And I do not want that for you. I do not want you to wake up years from now with a heavy weight of regret pressing on your chest, realizing that you were always looking forward or looking back, but never truly looking around. No, my love, I want you to be here, to be rooted in this moment, to take up space, to breathe deeply, to feel the joy, the sorrow, the wonder of being alive. Because when you choose presence, you choose power. You choose to claim your days, to live with intention, to be an active force in your own life. You choose to stop waiting, stop postponing, stop telling yourself that tomorrow will be the day you start living. Because the truth is, tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. But this moment is yours. So wake up, my dear. Wake up to your own life. Open your eyes, open your heart, open your hands, and take hold of this day as if it were a gift, because it is. Do not let the world rob you of your presence. Do not let time slip through your fingers while you are too busy thinking of what has passed or what is to come, because presence is the difference between merely existing and truly living. It is the difference between moving through life as a shadow and standing in it as a light. And my love, you were made to shine. So stand tall, breathe deep, and be here. Be here now, be here fully, because this life is yours and only you can choose to live it. My dear brothers and sisters, I have seen too many souls shrink into silence, too many hearts dim their own fire, too many voices swallowed by fear. I've seen people stand on the edge of their own power, trembling, wondering if they are worthy enough, strong enough to be heard. But I tell you now, your voice matters, your words carry weight, your truth deserves space. Oh, but the world will try to make you forget this. It will tell you to stay quiet, to sit down, to blend in. It will tell you that your thoughts are too loud, your dreams too bold, your spirit too much for the small boxes it wants to keep you in. But my love, you are not made to whisper. You are not placed here to silence yourself for the comfort of others. You were made to speak, because words shape the world. They build bridges, tear down walls, heal wounds, and ignite revolutions. Words, when spoken from the depths of truth, have the power to shift mountains, to call forth light in the darkest of places. And yet, too many hold their tongues, afraid to disturb the air around them, afraid of judgment, of rejection, of the possibility that their voice will be lost in the noise. But let me tell you something, your voice is never lost, even when it trembles, even when it is barely above a whisper, even when it feels like no one is listening. It matters. It matters because it is yours. It matters because it carries your truth, your story, your experience, things that no one else can speak in the way that you can. And yes, I know it takes courage to speak. It takes courage to stand up and say, this is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I know to be true. Because the world does not always welcome truth. The world does not always celebrate voices that challenge, that question, that refuse to be silenced. But that, my dear, is exactly why you must speak. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for the perfect moment, the perfect audience, the perfect words to fall into place before you begin. Speak now. Speak when your voice is shaking. Speak when your thoughts are still forming. Speak even when you are afraid. Because silence will never protect you. Silence will never honor the depth of who you are. And do not think that your voice must always be the loudest to be powerful. No, my love. Power is not in volume alone. It is in truth. It is in the quiet words of a mother reassuring her child. It is in the soft prayers whispered in the stillness of night. It is in the firm no spoken when the world expects you to say yes. It is in the steady declaration of, I am here, I will not be moved. So do not diminish yourself. Do not second guess your worth. Do not let the world convince you that you must be silent to be accepted, because your existence is already proof that you belong. Your voice is already proof that you matter. And if the world is loud, then let your truth be louder. If the world is cold, then let your words bring warmth. If the world is unjust, then let your voice rise up and call for something better. Because silence has never changed the world, but voices have shaken empires. So speak, my love. Speak with confidence, with honesty, with the full force of your existence behind you. Speak even when they tell you not to, even when they do not want to hear, even when they pretend you do not exist. Because you do exist, and that alone is reason enough to be heard. My dear brothers and sisters, there comes a moment in every life when the fog begins to lift, when the world no longer feels like a blurred rush of days passing without meaning. There comes a moment when the truth stands before you, waiting, calling, demanding to be seen, and in that moment you have a choice: to open your eyes and claim it, or to turn away and remain in the comfort of not knowing. Because consciousness requires courage. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those who wish to live small, to stay hidden, to avoid the weight of truth. No, my love, to be truly awake is to be truly brave. There are many who move through life without seeing, without questioning, without daring to look deeper. It is easier that way, isn't it? Easier to follow the path that has already been laid, easier to accept what you have been told, easier to let others think for you, speak for you, decide for you. But hear me now. The easiest road is not always the right one. The safest path is not always the one that leads you to yourself. And if you are not careful, you will wake up one day and realize that you have spent your life living someone else's truth, speaking someone else's words, wearing a mask that was never yours to wear. But my dear, I do not want that for you. I do not want you to live in the shadows of someone else's version of the world. I want you to see, to open your heart, your mind, your soul to the vastness of what is real, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it shakes you, even when it forces you to let go of things you once held tightly. Because truth, once seen, cannot be unseen. Once, and though it may unsettle you at first, though it may challenge everything you thought you knew, it will set you free. Oh, but I know that awareness comes with a cost. I know that once you choose to see, you can no longer turn a blind eye to the things that do not sit right in your spirit. You can no longer pretend not to hear the cries of the world, the injustices that once seemed distant, the whispers of your own heart, telling you that there is more. Because when you wake up, when you truly wake up, you realize that you can no longer be passive. You realize that to be conscious is to be responsible. And responsibility, my love, is heavy. It means taking ownership of your thoughts, your actions, your choices. It means no longer blaming the world for where you are, but instead asking yourself, what can I do? How can I grow? How can I stand in my own power and shape my own life? And that, my dear, is where the courage comes in. Because to be conscious is to take control, to stop waiting for the world to change and instead become the force of change yourself. But let me tell you something, though it is hard, though it will stretch you, though it will demand that you rise beyond who you were yesterday, it is worth it. Because when you are conscious, you are alive. You are no longer sleepwalking through your days, no longer settling for less than you deserve, no longer allowing the world to decide who you should be. When you are conscious, you are awake to the beauty of existence, to the possibilities that stretch endlessly before you, to the fire that has always burned within you. So do not fear awareness. Do not run from the truth simply because it makes you uncomfortable. Do not close your eyes when you are meant to see. Because to be truly conscious, to be fully awake, to be alive in every sense of the word, that is the greatest power of all. Listen to me now. There is no greater tragedy than a soul that has been caged by its own fear. No greater loss than a life that has been held hostage by doubt hesitation, and the belief that it is safer to remain unseen, unheard, and undone. Oh, but I know how easy it is to settle into the comfort of the familiar, how tempting it is to stay in places that no longer nourish you simply because they are known. I know what it is to fear the unknown, to wonder if you are strong enough, brave enough, worthy enough to step beyond the edges of what you have always known. But my love, hear me well. Growth is not found in the places where you have already been. Transformation does not happen in the safety of the familiar. If you are to become all that you were meant to be, you must be willing to step beyond the boundaries of comfort and into the wild, untamed landscape of possibility. Because life, in all its brilliance, is waiting for you beyond your fear. It is waiting in the risks you have not yet taken, in the dreams you have not yet dared to chase, in the version of yourself you have not yet allowed to rise. But you cannot reach it if you remain bound to what is safe. You cannot become if you refuse to move. Oh, I have seen it too many times. I have seen people carry the weight of their own unfulfilled potential, seen them shrink under the heaviness of dreams left unattended, and I have seen the regret that follows, the aching, quiet kind of regret that whispers, what if? What if I had tried? What if I had leaped? What if I had believed in myself enough to take the chance? And let me tell you, my dear, that regret is far heavier than any failure. That regret lingers long after the opportunity has passed, long after the doors have closed, long after time has taken what was once possible and turned it into nothing more than a memory of what could have been. So do not let fear make your choices for you. Do not let doubt build the walls that keep you from stepping into your own power. Because fear is a liar, my love. It will tell you that you are not ready, not capable, not strong enough. It will whisper that it is safer to stay where you are, to keep your feet planted, to never reach beyond what is certain. But I tell you now, safety is not the goal. Comfort is not the purpose. You were not placed on this earth to live a life that is small, that is predictable, that is careful, to never stretch too far. You were meant to grow. You were meant to break free. And yes, I know, growth is uncomfortable. It will ask things of you that you do not feel ready to give. It will demand that you leave behind the pieces of yourself that no longer serve you, that you shed the skin of who you once were in order to step fully into who you are becoming. And that is not easy, my love. It is not painless. It will stretch you, pull you, shake you to your very core. But it will also make you new, because there is something extraordinary that happens when you decide to grow. The world begins to open. The road that once seemed impossible begins to reveal itself, one step at a time. Strength that you did not know you possessed begins to rise within you. And suddenly you realize that the things you once feared were never as powerful as you thought they were, that the cage was never locked, that the limits were never real. So do not let fear win. Do not let the voice of doubt be louder than the voice of possibility. Do not let the comfort of what is known keep you from discovering what could be. Because growth, my dear, is where life begins. And you were meant to live. My dear brothers and sisters, there comes a time when you must stop searching for yourself in the eyes of others. A time when you must stop waiting for permission, stop seeking validation, stop looking to the world to tell you who you are. Because let me tell you something, the world does not know. The world will try to shape you in its own image, will try to fit you into its boxes, will try to make you smaller so that you are easier to carry, easier to control, easier to forget. But my love, you were not made to fit. You were not made to shrink. You were not made to be anything other than the fullness of you. And I know how tempting it is to blend in, to belong, to mold yourself into something that others will approve of. Because we have all been taught that acceptance means survival, that to be loved we must be agreeable, that to be chosen we must be easy to understand. But hear me now. Love that requires you to be anything other than your true self is not love at all. Acceptance that demands you abandon yourself is not acceptance. It is a cage. You were not placed on this earth to live someone else's idea of a good life. You were not sent here to wear a mask, to walk a path that was never yours to walk, to carry the expectations of a world that does not even know the depth of your soul. No, my love, you were placed here to be you, to stand firm in your truth, to walk boldly in your light, to exist unapologetically as the being you were always meant to be. And yes, I know, it is not easy. It is not easy to unlearn the things you were taught about who you should be. It is not easy to break free from the voices that have told you that you are too much or not enough. It is not easy to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am worthy as I am. I am enough as I am. I do not need to be anything other than myself. But my dear, once you step into the fullness of your own existence, you will understand that there is no greater power than being at home within yourself. Because when you know who you are, truly know who you are, the world can no longer shake you. The opinions of others no longer define you. The judgments, the expectations, the demands, they lose their hold because you are standing on a foundation that is unshakable. A foundation built not on the approval of others, but on the certainty of your own spirit. And do not think that being yourself means you will always be understood. No, my love, there will be those who do not see you clearly, who do not understand the fire that burns within you, who do not know how to love you as you are. But that is not your burden to carry. It is not your job to make yourself more palatable, more acceptable, more digestible for a world that does not yet know how to hold all that you are. It is only your job to be, to exist in your truth, to refuse to dim your light for the comfort of others. Because the moment you stop apologizing for who you are, the moment you stop waiting for approval, the moment you decide that you are enough just as you are, that is the moment you are truly free. That is the moment you step into your power. That is the moment you begin to live a life that is yours and yours alone. So be yourself, my dear, fully, completely, unapologetically. Walk in your truth even when it is uncomfortable. Speak your truth even when it is not welcomed. Love yourself even when the world does not. Because at the end of the day, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. And that, my love, is a love worth fighting for. My dear brothers and sisters, we have walked this road together, step by step, truth by truth, breath by breath. We have spoken of consciousness, of existence, of fear and courage, of truth and transformation. We have unwrapped the layers that have hidden us from ourselves, peeled back the doubt, the hesitation, the waiting, and now we stand here in the light of understanding, in the power of knowing. You are here, you exist, and that is enough. That is reason enough to rise, to speak, to claim the space that was always meant for you. The world will try to shake you, but you are unshakable. It will try to silence you, but your voice was made to be heard. It will try to make you doubt, but your truth is stronger than any uncertainty. So go forward with courage, walk with purpose, speak with conviction, grow without fear, love yourself without apology, And above all, remember, this life is yours. This moment is yours. This existence is yours. To shape, to mold, to claim as only you can. I believe in you, I see you, and I know that you will rise. Good luck on your journey, my dear ones, and thank you. Thank you for listening, for feeling, for being. May you walk in truth, may you stand in your power, and may you never forget the greatness that lives within you. Laddies and gentlemen, there is a road, long, winding, and full of stones. It is not meant to be easy. No, easy is for those who stand still, watching life pass them by like a river too deep to cross. But you, my dear, were not made to stand still. You were made to move, to rise, to press forward, even when the wind howls in your face and the road vanishes beneath your feet. You see, life has a way of testing those who dare to dream. It will whisper doubts in your ear, place obstacles in your path, and shake the ground beneath your step. But you, yes, you, were born with something stronger than fear, greater than failure, and louder than doubt. You were born with determination. Determination is the fire in your bones when the world says, sit down, but your soul says, stand up. It is the whisper in your heart that says, try again when you have fallen for the 10th, the 100th, the 1000th time. It is the force that turns pain into power, trials into triumph, and dreams into reality. There will be days when you want to quit, when the weight of the world presses too heavy on your shoulders, when the road ahead looks too long, too steep, too cruel. But hear me now, those are the moments that shape you. Those are the moments when strength is forged, when courage is carved into your spirit like an unshakable truth. There is something about falling that teaches you who you really are. The ground, cold and unforgiving, does not care for your dreams, your hopes, or your struggles. It simply waits. It does not move to catch you, does not soften itself to ease your landing. No, the ground is always there, always ready. And when life knocks you down, it will remind you just how low you can go. But listen to me, falling is not the end. You see, the true measure of a person is not how many times they stumble, not how many times the world shoves them to their knees. It is how many times they rise. Because rising, oh, that takes something special. Rising takes courage when the weight of failure is pressing down on your back. Rising takes strength when every muscle in your body aches from the struggle. Rising takes heart when your spirit has been tested, your dreams shattered, and the voices around you whisper, stay down. But you, my dear, were not made to stay down. There will be days when the battle seems too hard, the mountain too high, the burden too heavy. Days when it feels easier to surrender, to let the waves take you under. And maybe for a moment you do. Maybe for a moment you let yourself feel the weight of it all. That is fine. That is human. But after that moment passes, you remember who you are. You remember the fire in your soul, the strength in your bones, the purpose in your heart. And you rise, because the truth is, every great story is written in resilience. The most powerful victories are born from struggle, and the most unbreakable spirits are those that have been tested by fire. The world does not give success freely. It does not hand out dreams like gifts wrapped in gold. No, it demands persistence. It demands effort. It demands that you fight for what you want, even when the odds are stacked against you. So you fall, yes, that is part of the journey, but you rise again and again and again, because each time you stand up stronger. Each time you push forward wiser. Each time you refuse to stay down, you prove to yourself and to the world that you are not done yet. It is easy to admire the ones who never seem to struggle, who glide through life untouched, but do not envy them. No, Do not waste your time wishing for a life without obstacles, because it is the climb that makes the view worth it. It is the struggle that builds character, the failure that teaches wisdom, the fall that makes the rise so powerful. Greatness is not about never falling. Greatness is about refusing to stay down. The champions, the legends, the ones who changed the world, they have all fallen, every single one of them. They have all known failure, all known pain, all known moments when the world told them they were not enough. But they rose. Again and again they rose. And that is what made them great. You must do the same. When the world pushes you down, you push back harder. When doubt tries to creep into your mind, you drown it out with action. When failure stands in your way, you look it in the eye and say, not today, because you were not made to be defeated. You were made to rise. The road stretches far ahead, winding, unkind, unpredictable. It does not promise ease. It does not promise comfort. It only promises movement. And that, my dear, is all you need, because every step, no matter how slow, no matter how small, is a step forward. There will be days when the road feels endless, when exhaustion settles into your bones, when doubt whispers that turning back would be easier. There will be moments when progress feels invisible, when you take one step only to be pushed 2 steps back, when the weight of your dreams presses so heavily on your shoulders that you wonder if it is even worth carrying them. But let me tell you something. Forward is forward. Even the tiniest step, even the slowest crawl, even the mere act of refusing to give up is a victory over yesterday. Some people will measure success in leaps and bounds. They will talk about speed, about how fast they got there, how quickly they rose. But speed is not the measure of strength. No, strength is in the one who keeps going when progress is unseen, when the path is lonely, when every mile feels like a mountain. Strength is in the one who walks even when the walk is hard. And you, yes, you, are stronger than you know. The road is not meant to be easy, because easy does not change you. Easy does not carve resilience into your spirit, does not test your will, does not demand the kind of determination that turns dreamers into doers, fighters into victors. The ones who reach the mountaintop are not the ones who had the smoothest climb. They are the ones who stumbled, who struggled, who scraped their knees and got back up again and again. They are the ones who took step after step, not knowing when they would finally see the peak, but trusting that they would. So keep moving, keep stepping, keep pushing, keep believing. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you are further than you were yesterday. And that is something, that is everything, because success is not a single moment. It is not one grand victory that appears out of nowhere. It is built brick by brick, step by step, day by day. It is found in the moments when you wanted to quit but chose to continue. It is found in the days when you saw no progress but pressed forward anyway. It is found in the quiet strength of persistence, in the fire of a soul that refuses to stop moving. You must not measure your journey by how far you still have to go. Measure it by how far you have already come. Look back, not to mourn, not to dwell, but to remind yourself that every step you took mattered, that every challenge you faced did not break you, but built you, that every moment of doubt, every struggle, every setback was just another part of the story that led you here, and the story is not over yet. There is more road to travel, more steps to take, more mountains to climb, but you do not have to rush. You do not have to run. You only have to keep going, because every step forward is a victory, and victory belongs to those who refuse to stop. Doubt is a quiet thing at first, a whisper in the back of your mind, a soft tug at your confidence. It does not shout. It does not need to. It only needs to be heard once, and suddenly it takes root. It asks, what if you fail? It wonders, what if you are not enough? It suggests maybe this dream is too big for you. And once doubt finds its way in, Fear is never far behind. Fear is louder. It does not whisper. It shouts. It drowns out reason, overshadows courage, makes you believe that standing still is safer than moving forward. Fear does not want you to try. It does not want you to rise, to fight, to push forward. Fear only wants you to shrink. But you, oh, you have something stronger than doubt, louder than fear. You have determination. And when determination roars, doubt and fear scatter like shadows at sunrise. Determination is the voice that says, I will try anyway. It is the force that stands firm when everything else crumbles. It is the fire that burns even when the winds of failure threaten to snuff it out. Determination is knowing that fear will come, but choosing to walk forward anyway. Because here is the truth. Fear will always try to stop you. It will scream warnings about failure. It will make you believe that mistakes define you, that struggles are signs to turn back. But fear is a liar. And doubt? Doubt is nothing more than an illusion that fades the moment you decide to trust yourself. Every great story was nearly silenced by doubt. Every strong soul was nearly crushed by fear. The difference between those who rise and those who stay behind is not talent, not luck, not privilege. It is determination. The refusal to listen to fear, the decision to move forward even when the path is unclear, the choice to believe in yourself even when no one else does. There will be moments when the voice of fear is deafening, when the weight of doubt is heavy, when it feels easier to surrender to the noise and let go of your dreams. But listen closely. Beneath it all, there is another voice, the voice of determination, and it is waiting for you to let it roar. So stand tall, speak louder, move forward. Let determination drown out the doubt, silence the fear, and carry you to where you were always meant to be. Because the only thing stronger than fear is the soul that refuses to surrender to it. Greatness is not a gift. It is not something handed down, wrapped in silk and tied with a golden ribbon. It is not found by luck or stumbled upon by accident. No, greatness is built piece by piece, day by day, through the fire of persistence and the weight of struggle. You cannot wish your way into success. You cannot hope for it, dream of it, or wait for it to arrive at your doorstep. The world does not work that way. It does not give freely to those who sit still. It does not reward those who stand at the edge, afraid to take the first step. If you want something, if you truly want it, you must earn it. And that means showing up. That means putting in the work when no one is watching. That means pushing forward, not just when the road is smooth, but when it is steep, rocky, and unforgiving. There will be days when progress feels invisible, when effort feels wasted, when the gap between where you are and where you want to be feels impossibly wide. But hear me now, effort is never wasted. Every drop of sweat, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt that you push through is carving you into something stronger. The world will test you. It will throw challenges in your path. It will demand proof of how much you want it. And the ones who rise, the ones who break through, are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who refuse to give up. They are the ones who understood that every setback was a lesson, every failure a stepping stone, every struggle a part of the climb. You cannot cheat the process. You cannot skip the hard parts. There are no shortcuts to greatness, no easy roads to success, but there is power in persistence. There is strength in showing up every day, in putting in the work even when you do not see immediate results, in knowing that every effort, no matter how small, is stacking up to something greater. There will be those who doubt you, those who question your dreams, who do not understand your vision, who tell you that you are reaching too high. Let them talk, let them doubt. But do not let them stop you, because they do not see what you see. They do not know the fire that burns in your soul. They do not understand that your dreams are not just wishes. They are promises to yourself. And you, my dear, must keep those promises. You must wake up every morning with the same hunger, the same determination, the same unwavering belief that no matter how far the journey, no matter how hard the road, you will keep going. Because greatness is not given, it is earned. And you, step by step, are earning it. The storm does not ask permission before it arrives. It does not knock gently at your door or wait for you to be ready. No, it comes when it chooses, sweeping through your life with a force that shakes you to your core. It does not care for your plans, your peace, or your progress. It only comes to test you. Winds howl, doubts rise, and suddenly everything feels uncertain. The world tells you to bow, to yield, to let the storm have its way. It would be easier, wouldn't it, to let the wind take you, to let the weight of struggle push you to your knees. But listen to me. You were not built to break. You were not made to surrender. You stand tall not because the storm is weak, but because your spirit is strong. It is in these moments when everything seems to be working against you that you must decide, will you be moved or will you hold your ground? Will you let the storm define you or will you rise and remind it who you are? Strength is not the absence of struggle. Strength is standing firm in the middle of it. It is looking hardship in the eye and refusing to bow. It is knowing that storms do not last forever, but the ones who endure them do. The world does not remember those who cowered in the face of difficulty. It remembers those who stood unshaken, those who faced the winds with fire in their eyes and steel in their spine. And you, yes, you, are one of them. You have already survived storms that tried to break you. You have faced nights that seemed endless, battles that seemed unwinnable, moments that made you question if you could keep going. But you are still here. That means something. That means everything. So when the next storm comes, and it will come, stand your ground. Let it rage, let the winds howl, let the rain pour. But do not bow, do not surrender. Because when the storm passes, and it will pass, it is you who will remain standing. And that is what strength looks like. Dreams do not come to those who wait for the perfect moment. They do not belong to the ones who stand on the shore watching the tide, waiting for the waters to calm. No, dreams belong to the ones who dare to wade in, to face the waves, to keep moving forward, even when the current pulls them back. There will be moments when doubt grips you, when the dream feels too big, too distant, too impossible. You will hear the voices, the ones that say you are reaching too high, that the odds are against you, that perhaps this dream was never meant for you. But dreams do not wait for the weak. They do not unfold for those who hesitate. They bloom for the ones who refuse to let go. The road to success is not paved with ease. It is lined with trials, obstacles, and moments of despair. It will demand everything from you, your energy, your time, your patience. It will test your resolve and ask again and again, how much do you want this? And that is where many turn back. That is where the dreamers become the ones who almost made it, the ones who came close but gave up too soon. Because dreams are not lost in the beginning when excitement runs high and the path is still clear. No, dreams are lost in the middle, in the long stretch of uncertainty where progress is slow, where setbacks feel permanent, where success feels like a distant mirage. But you must not turn back. You must push forward, even when the way is unclear, even when it feels like you are walking in the dark, because every step you take is a step closer. Every effort, no matter how small, is building something greater. And one day, when you least expect it, you will look back and realize that the dream that once felt unreachable is now within your grasp. You must believe in the unseen. You must trust in the process, because dreams do not belong to those who wish. They belong to those who work, who persist, who refuse to let failure be the final word. So keep going, keep pushing, keep believing, because your dream is waiting for you to claim it. And the only way to reach it is to never stop moving forward. You are not made to shrink, to settle, to fit yourself into the small spaces the world offers you. You were not born to stay grounded when your heart was built for flight. There is something inside you, something bold, something boundless, something that refuses to be contained, and yet the world will try to make you forget it. They will tell you to be realistic, to lower your expectations, to stay where it is safe. They will ask you to trade passion for practicality, to exchange your fire for comfort, to let go of your wild and limitless dreams for something smaller, something easier to understand. And maybe for a moment you will listen. Maybe you will convince yourself that it is better to stay where it is familiar, where the risks are fewer, where failure is less likely. But deep down you will know the truth. You will know that you are not made for the ordinary. You will feel it in the restlessness of your spirit, in the way your dreams refuse to stay quiet, in the way your soul aches for something more. You will hear the call to rise, to reach, to take up space in this world without apology. And that is where your choice begins. Will you silence that voice? Will you convince yourself that playing small is enough? Will you clip your own wings before you ever get the chance to fly? Or will you dare to believe that you are capable of more? Will you trust that your dreams are not foolish, that your potential is not a myth, that you were meant for something greater than simply existing? The world does not hand out success freely. It does not clear the way for you, does not roll out a red carpet and invite you to step into your destiny. No, it makes you fight for it. It demands courage. It demands that you walk through fear, through doubt, through failure, and still refuse to give up. But here is what they will not tell you. Once you decide to rise, once you decide to step into your power, there is nothing that can stop you, not fear, not failure, not the voices that tell you to turn back. Because the moment you choose yourself, truly, fully, unapologetically, the world will have no choice but to make room for you. So do not settle, do not shrink, do not let anyone, not even yourself, convince you that you are meant for anything less than the fullness of your own potential. You were made to soar, and it is time to take flight. The path to greatness is not easy. It is long, demanding, and filled with trials that will test every part of you. But within you lies a force stronger than any challenge, a fire that refuses to die, a spirit that will not be broken. You have the power to rise after every fall, to keep moving when the road is uncertain, to hold your ground when the storm rages. Do not fear failure. It is only proof that you are trying. Do not let doubt silence your dreams. They are yours for a reason. And do not, under any circumstance, settle for less than what you are capable of, because you were made for more. So stand tall, walk boldly, keep going, no matter how slow, no matter how hard, because with every step, you are proving that you are unstoppable. And one day, when you look back, you will see that every struggle, every setback, every moment of doubt was simply part of the story that led you to victory. Believe in yourself, trust the journey, keep pushing forward. Your greatness is waiting. Good luck and thank you. Good evening, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear friends. Lean in close and listen. For today we gather in the name of something mighty, something so soft yet so strong, something that moves mountains, lifts spirits and men's hearts. Kindness, ah yes, that small golden thread woven through the grand fabric of our days, that simple act, that gentle word, that offering of love with no expectation, no demand, no parade. Kindness is a balm for the weary, a light for the lost, a song for the silent. We have been taught, some of us, that power looks like thunder, that strength wears the face of steel. But I tell you, real power, lasting, soul-shaking, world-changing power, is found in the way we treat one another. It is found in the mother who smooths her child's hair before sending them into the world, in the man who offers his last dollar to a stranger on the street, in the friend who listens, truly listens when another feels unseen. Oh, how often we forget, how often we think that kindness must be grand, must be wrapped in ribbons, must be announced with trumpets. No, no, no. Kindness is in the small things, the everyday things, the things we barely notice but feel deep in our bones. My dear brothers and sisters, lean in, for I have something to share with you today. Something that may seem small, something that may seem simple, but something that has the power to move mountains, lift burdens, and change the very fabric of our world. Kindness. Ah, kindness. It does not shout, it does not demand, it does not come dressed in flashing lights or grand gestures. No, kindness is a silent force. Soft in delivery, but mighty in effect. It is the whisper that echoes for a lifetime, the gentle touch that can heal a wound no eye can see. We live in a world that so often confuses power with volume, equates strength with harshness, believes that to make a difference one must be loud, bold, unyielding. But I tell you, true power is not found in how much noise you can make. True power is found in the quiet acts of goodness, the unseen moments of grace, the love that moves without announcement. A kind word to a weary soul may seem like a small thing, but oh, how deep its roots can grow. A smile to a stranger may seem insignificant, but you do not know what battles they fight, what storms they walk through. A moment of patience, a gesture of understanding, a helping hand extended with no expectation. These are the things that shape the world, though they may never make the headlines. Think, if you will, of the people who have lifted you in your darkest days. Perhaps it was a teacher who believed in you when no one else did. Perhaps it was a friend who sat with you in silence when your heart was too heavy to speak. Perhaps it was a stranger who held the door, gave you a warm nod, reminded you in the simplest way that you are seen. These are not grand things, but tell me, did they not matter? Did they not stay with you long after they happened? We underestimate the power of the quiet. We forget that water over time carves through rock. We forget that a seed, though buried in darkness, can push through stone to reach the sun. We forget that kindness, though soft, carries the weight of the world on its back and never stumbles. You do not need riches to be kind. You do not need fame, nor titles, nor great influence. You do not need to wait for the right time or the perfect moment. Kindness is always within your reach, always at your fingertips, always ready to be given. It does not diminish when shared, it multiplies. It does not weaken the giver, it strengthens both. There is a story, a truth in every small kindness you offer. A hand held may be the difference between despair and hope. A word spoken may be the reason someone chooses to hold on. A moment of compassion may remind another that the world is not so cruel, that there is still love, still light, still reason to believe. And so, I urge you, my dear ones, do not think for a moment that your kindness is too small, too quiet, too unseen to matter. It matters. It always matters. What you give in kindness, no matter how small, is never lost. It finds its way. It plants itself in hearts. It grows in souls. And in time, it blossoms into something greater than you could ever imagine. So go forth with kindness. Be it, speak it, live it, and let it do the work only kindness can do. Today, I ask you to consider something so profound, yet so often overlooked: the reach of a single act of kindness. We move through this world thinking that what we do exists only in the moment, that the things we say, the gestures we make, the warmth we share simply come and go like the wind. But I tell you, kindness is never lost. It moves, it spreads, it grows. A single act of kindness can ripple through generations, touching lives unseen, shaping futures unknown. You may not always see the impact of your kindness, but it is there, weaving itself into the fabric of someone's story, taking root in places you never expected. Think of a single drop of water falling into a still pond. The ripples stretch far beyond where the drop first landed, moving outward in waves, touching edges unseen. That is kindness. It does not stay where it starts. It moves, it travels, it expands beyond your reach. Perhaps you once gave a kind word to someone who was struggling, not knowing that in that moment you were the only voice of comfort they had. Perhaps you offered help when no one else did, not realizing that your small act of generosity inspired them to help another. Perhaps you simply smiled at someone who felt invisible, not understanding that your one moment of acknowledgement reminded them they mattered. The truth is, kindness does not die in the moment it is given. It is passed from hand to hand, heart to heart, growing in ways we cannot predict. That teacher who took a moment to encourage a child may have set them on a path to greatness. That stranger who offered a warm meal to someone in need may have unknowingly saved a life. That single act of forgiveness, of patience, of love may have rewritten someone's entire story. And do not be mistaken, my dear ones, into thinking that kindness only affects the one who receives it. No. Kindness transforms the giver as well. It makes the heart softer, the spirit lighter, the soul richer. When you extend kindness, you become part of a chain that stretches beyond time, beyond place, beyond even your own understanding. History is filled with stories of kindness, creating change in ways no one could have foreseen. A single letter of encouragement led a young writer to pursue a dream. A single act of sheltering the lost led to entire movements of justice. A single moment of love given to a child taught them to grow into a person who would one day change the world. These are not just stories of grand figures or famous names. These are stories of everyday people, people like you and me, who chose kindness without expectation, who gave simply because they could. You may never see the full effect of your kindness, but I promise you it does not disappear. It lives on, moving from one person to another, sometimes in small ways, sometimes in ways so vast they reshape the future. So do not wait for the right moment. Do not hesitate, thinking your kindness is too small to match. What you give today may travel farther than you will ever know, reaching hearts that have yet to be born. Go forth and be kind. Let your kindness be the ripple that turns into a wave, the seed that grows into a mighty tree, the light that shines long after you are gone. My dear friends, the world has taught us many things about strength. It has told us that to be strong, we must be hard, that to survive, we must be unshaken, that to lead, we must never bend, never soften, never give too much of ourselves. But I stand before you today to tell you that the world is wrong. True strength is not in dominance. It is not in loudness, nor in force. True strength is in the courage to be compassionate, to be kind in a world that can be unkind. Now that takes courage. To offer love when you have been given hate, to extend grace when you have been shown cruelty, to choose understanding when anger would be easier. This is the greatest power of all. It is easy to build walls, easy to close your heart, easy to believe that kindness makes you vulnerable. But the truth is, kindness is not weakness. Kindness is resilience. Kindness is power wrapped in gentleness, a quiet force that does not break but bends, does not demand but heals, does not conquer but uplifts. There will be days when it feels safer to guard your heart, to hold back your kindness, to give only where it is guaranteed to be returned. There will be moments when the world will tell you to harden yourself, to toughen up, to fight fire with fire. But my dear ones, what good is a hardened heart? What good is a spirit that refuses to feel, There is no bravery in cruelty, no honor in coldness. The strongest people are not those who stand tallest in battle, but those who stand firm in their love despite the battle. Think of the strongest souls you have known. Were they the ones who ruled with an iron fist? Or were they the ones who faced pain with grace, who met loss with hope, who responded to hurt with kindness? True strength is not found in how much you can take, but in how much you can give. It is found in the mother who sacrifices for her child, in the friend who forgives even when it is hard, in the stranger who helps another with no expectation of reward. The world remembers those who are kind. It may not always seem like it in the moment, but history does not celebrate the cruel, the unfeeling, the selfish. No, it remembers those who led with love, those who held on to compassion when it would have been easier to let go. The greatest revolutions, the most powerful movements, the most unshakable leaders, they were not the ones who ruled with fear, but the ones who stood for kindness in a world that told them not to. So I tell you today, do not be afraid to be kind. Do not let the world convince you that compassion is a weakness. Let them call you soft. There is strength in softness. Let them call you gentle. There is power in gentleness. Let them call you too kind. There is no such thing. Go forth and be strong in the most courageous way possible. Be kind, and let that kindness change the world. My dear friends, we live in a world that tells us to measure our worth by what we have. It tells us that power is in wealth, that value is in status, that generosity should be reserved for those who can afford it. But I stand before you today to remind you of a simple, beautiful truth. Kindness costs nothing, yet it is the richest gift you can give. Too often, people believe that to make an impact, they must have more money, more influence, more resources. They wait for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right circumstances. But kindness does not require grand gestures. It does not need a stage. It does not wait for the perfect conditions. It is within you now, ready to be given freely, without price, without hesitation. A warm smile, a word of encouragement, a moment of patience. These cost nothing, yet they can mean everything to someone who is struggling. A listening ear, a helping hand, a simple act of respect. These are gifts of the heart, and their value cannot be measured in gold. You do not need to be rich to be kind. You do not need to be powerful to be compassionate. You do not need to have everything figured out to lift someone else up. Think of the moments in your life when someone's kindness changed your day, perhaps even your entire outlook. Was it a stranger who helped you when you least expected it? Was it a friend who reminded you of your worth when you had forgotten? Was it a small act of love given freely with no expectation of return? That is the beauty of kindness. It does not have to be large to be powerful. It does not have to be costly to be priceless. The world is full of people who are carrying burdens they do not speak of, who are fighting battles you cannot see. You may never know the difference you make, but that does not mean it is not made. A kind word may be the only light someone sees in their darkest hour. A gentle gesture may be the first bit of love they have felt in a long time. And though you may not see it, though you may not hear of it, your kindness lives on, traveling beyond you, shaping the world in ways beyond your knowing. Some people believe kindness should be reserved only for those who deserve it. But kindness is not a transaction. It is not a reward given only to those who have earned it. True kindness is given freely, without condition, without judgment. It is extended not because of who the other person is, but because of who you are. It is a reflection of your character, your heart, your spirit. There is great power in a person who gives without expecting, who loves without limits, who chooses kindness even when the world tells them not to. The richest among us are not those with the most possessions, but those who give the most of themselves. And you, my dear ones, have so much to give. Your kindness, your words, your presence, these are treasures beyond measure. So do not wait. Do not hold back, thinking you must have more before you can give. You already have everything you need. Your kindness given freely is the greatest wealth you will ever possess. And when you give it, you do not lose. It multiplies, it grows, it returns in ways you cannot imagine. Go forth, give freely, love deeply, and let your kindness be the richest gift you offer to the world. My dear friends, the world can be a heavy place. There are days when the weight of it all presses down, when the road ahead looks dark, when the troubles of life feel endless. We have all known those moments when we feel unseen, unheard, unloved, moments when the storms rage louder than the whispers of hope. And in those moments, we often look for something, anything, to remind us that we are not alone. A single act of kindness, no matter how small, can be that light. It can break through the darkest moments, offering warmth where there was only cold, offering hope where there was only despair. You may not always realize it, but you have the power to be that light for someone else. You have the power to soften a heart that has been hardened by hurt. You have the power to lift a spirit that has been weighed down by sorrow. You have the power to remind another soul that even in the darkest nights, kindness still exists, love still lives, and hope is never truly lost. Sometimes it takes only a moment. A simple smile can remind someone that they are seen. A kind word can ease a burden no one else can understand. A gentle gesture, holding a door, offering a hand, taking the time to listen can change the course of someone's day, perhaps even their life. There are people walking among us who are carrying battles they have never spoken of. The friend who seems fine but is struggling in silence. The stranger who passes by but is weighed down by unseen grief. The child who sits alone, waiting for someone to notice them. The elder who longs for a moment of connection. And though we cannot always know the struggles of others, we can choose to be kind anyway, because kindness, no matter how small, is never wasted. Think back to the moments when someone's kindness reached you in your own darkness. Perhaps it was a teacher who believed in you when you doubted yourself. Perhaps it was a stranger who offered help when you needed it most. Perhaps it was a friend who simply sat beside you, offering their presence when words were not enough. Those moments of kindness stay with us. They linger long after they have passed. They remind us that even in a world that can be harsh, goodness still exists. You see, kindness does not need to be grand to be powerful. It does not need to be shouted to be heard. A single candle, no matter how small, can chase away the shadows. A single star, no matter how distant, can guide the lost. A single act of kindness, no matter how simple, can bring light to a heart that has known only darkness. Do not underestimate what you can do. Do not believe that your kindness is too small to matter. What seems like the tiniest spark may be the very thing that sets a soul alight with hope again. The smallest light of kindness can break through the darkest moments. And my dear ones, the world is always in need of more light. So go forth, be that light. Let your kindness shine even when no one sees. Let your kindness be the warmth in someone's coldest hour. Let your kindness be the proof that goodness still exists. And trust that in time, the light you give will come back to you in ways you never expected. My dear friends, we live in a world that is constantly telling us to be something, be strong, be successful, be admired, be feared. The world urges us to chase power, to seek recognition, to stand out in ways that demand attention. But in all the noise and all the rushing to become something great, I offer you this simple truth. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. For kindness is the most powerful thing you can be. And when you choose it, you not only transform others, you transform yourself. Kindness is not weakness, nor is it a lesser path. It takes great strength to be kind in the face of cruelty, to be gentle when the world has been harsh, to love when you have not been loved in return. Kindness is a choice, and it is a choice that requires courage. It is easy to be indifferent, easy to turn away, easy to harden yourself against the world, but kindness asks more of you. It asks you to see others, to feel with them, to extend grace when it is not required. And when you do, something incredible happens. Kindness changes you. The moment you choose kindness, you step into something greater than yourself. You begin to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be. You realize that small actions have great meaning, that a word spoken in love can carry more weight than 1,000 shouted in anger. You understand that true success is not measured by what you gain, but by what you give. And when you give kindness freely, without expectation, without hesitation, you begin to see just how deeply it shapes the lives around you. Think of the times you have been touched by kindness. Perhaps it was a stranger who went out of their way to help you. Perhaps it was a friend who listened when you needed to be heard. Perhaps it was something so small, someone remembering your name, someone offering a word of encouragement, someone choosing patience when frustration would have been easier. These are the moments that stay with us. These are the moments that remind us that kindness is never forgotten, that it lingers long after it is given, that it takes root and grows in places we never imagined. And what happens when kindness is given freely? It spreads. The kindness you show today does not stop with you. It moves forward, reaching hearts beyond your own, touching lives you will never see. A small act of goodness can set off a chain reaction, inspiring others to be kind in turn. You hold that power in your hands, the power to shift the world, one act of kindness at a time. Some may say that kindness is not enough, that the world is too broken, too unkind, too cruel for something so simple to make a difference. But I tell you, kindness is not just enough, it is everything. It is what softens hearts, what bridges divides, what reminds us of our shared humanity. The world does not need more greed, more pride, more self-interest. The world needs more people who are willing to be kind, even when it is not easy, even when no one is watching. So, my dear ones, do not be fooled into thinking that kindness is small. Do not let the world convince you that it is insignificant. Kindness is power. Kindness is strength. Kindness is the force that heals, that uplifts, that restores. And if you must choose to be anything in this life, choose to be kind. Choose it every day, in every moment, in every way you can. Because in the end, it is not what we have, nor what we achieve, nor how high we climb that truly matters. It is how we love, how we give, how we leave the world a little better than we found it. And kindness above all things is what makes us truly great. My dear friends, we walk this earth for only a short while. The days pass swiftly, the years unfold like pages turning in a book, and before we know it, our time here becomes a story told by others. And when that time comes, what will be remembered? Not the wealth we accumulated, not the titles before our names, not the power we held. What will be remembered is how we made people feel. What will remain is the kindness we left behind, the love we gave, the lives we touched with the simplest yet most powerful gift of all, compassion. Kindness is not merely an act, it is a legacy. It is the imprint we leave on the hearts of others, the echoes of our presence, long after we have gone. It does not fade, nor does it disappear. It moves from one person to another, passed down like a cherished gift, shaping the world in ways we may never see. The kindness you show today will live on tomorrow and long after that in ways you cannot imagine. Think of those who came before us, those whose names may never be written in history books, but whose kindness has shaped lives. A teacher who encouraged a struggling student, not knowing they would go on to inspire thousands. A stranger who extended a hand in someone's darkest moment, not realizing that one act of care saved a life. A parent, a friend, a neighbor who led not with loud words but with quiet, steady love. These are the people who live on in the hearts of others. These are the ones whose kindness becomes their lasting mark on the world. We often chase the idea of making a difference, believing it must be something grand, something seen by many, but the truth is the greatest difference you can make is in the small moments. The kind word spoken when it is needed most, the patience shown when tempers rise, the love given without condition. These moments weave together into something greater than any one of us. They become the fabric of our shared humanity, the invisible thread that connects us all. And do not think that kindness is only for those you know, only for those who have earned it, only for those who will remember to thank you. True kindness expects nothing in return. True kindness is given freely because it understands that we all belong to one another, that we all have a role to play in lifting each other up. One day we will all leave this earth, but the kindness we give, that will remain. It will live on in the hearts of those who felt it, in the voices of those who were changed by it, in the actions of those who were inspired by it. And so, my dear ones, if you wish to leave a mark upon this world, let it be kindness. Let it be the love you give, the warmth you share, the light you bring into the lives of others. Because in the end, what matters most is not how much we take, but how much we give. Not how high we climb, but how many we lift along the way. And when our time here is done, may we be remembered not for what we had, but for how deeply we loved. My dear friends, we have walked through the power of kindness together, through its strength, its resilience, its ability to heal, to uplift, to bring light where there is darkness. We have seen that kindness costs nothing. Yet it is the richest gift we can give. We have learned that it takes great courage to be kind in a world that can be unkind. But that courage, once embraced, transforms not only others, but ourselves. Let us leave here today with hearts full of purpose, knowing that every small act of kindness has the power to create ripples far beyond what we can see. Let us choose to be the light in someone's darkest hour, the warmth in a world that sometimes feels cold, the reminder that love still exists in abundance. Let us be known not for what we have, but for how we give. Not for how high we climb, but for how many we lift along the way. As you step forward from this moment, may you carry kindness with you in all that you do. May your words be gentle, your actions be thoughtful, and your heart remain open to the beauty of giving freely. May you touch lives, inspire others, and create a legacy of love that will outlive your time here. Go forth with kindness, lead with love, and never underestimate the impact of a single good deed. The world needs you exactly as you are, a force of goodness, a beacon of hope, a reminder that kindness, above all, is what makes us truly great. Good luck on your journey, and may kindness always find its way back to you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. There is a rhythm to this life, a quiet song beneath all the noise. It hums in the trees, it sighs in the wind. It stirs the oceans and warms the ground we walk on. That rhythm is not chance, it is not luck, it is not chaos. It is the plan of the universe, and whether we know it or not, we are all dancing to it. You may think you're lost, you may believe you have taken too many wrong turns or missed too many chances, but baby, you are not lost. You are being guided. Life does not throw you into the fire to burn, it sets you there so you can light your own flame. The universe does not leave you behind. It teaches you patience. It slows you down when your soul needs stillness. It removes people when your spirit is ready for solitude. It breaks your heart wide open, not to punish, but to prepare you for something greater. I've walked roads where the dust rose behind me and the sun never seemed to set. I've waited in long nights and I have prayed without words. And in those quiet places where no one else could see me cry, I learned something mighty. The universe does not make mistakes. It shapes us like rivers shape stone, softly, gently, over time. It carves wisdom into our bones. It teaches us how to rise and how to rest. It reminds us again and again that nothing real is ever truly lost. When the doors close and your spirit feels tired, when the ones you love walk away or the dream you held falls apart, do not curse the sky. Lift your eyes instead. The stars have seen more than we ever will. They watch civilizations rise and fall, and still they shine. That is not by accident. That is design. That is the plan. Sometimes you must walk alone so you can hear your own footsteps. Sometimes the things you thought were meant to stay only came to teach you how to let go. Sometimes what feels like the end is just a new chapter, folding itself open like petals in the sun. You do not have to understand it all right now. You do not need every answer today. All you have to do is breathe. All you have to do is keep going. The universe has been writing your story since before you were born. Each breath you take is part of its poem. Each moment of joy, each tear, each sunrise, each goodbye, it all belongs. It all matters. It all fits. There are moments in life when things do not make sense. You try your best, you pour your heart out, you stay up late believing in something, and then it all slips through your fingers like water. The job you prayed for goes to someone else. The person you loved walks away. The dream you built crumbles just when you thought it was finally becoming real. And in those moments, the mind searches for blame. The heart cries out with questions. Why did this happen? Why me? What did I do wrong? But let me remind you of something quiet and powerful. The universe never makes mistakes. Even when life feels unfair, even when the pain feels senseless, there is a deeper current beneath it all, guiding you exactly where you need to be. Sometimes what looks like rejection is protection. Sometimes the no you received was actually a greater yes you could not see at the time. And sometimes the very thing that broke your heart was the thing that was clearing space for something better to grow. We live in a world that praises quick success and clear answers, but the universe does not work that way. It is slow, it is intentional, it moves with wisdom older than time itself. You may think you are ready, but the universe knows when your soul has grown strong enough to carry what you're asking for. It sees the cracks in the foundation before you even build the house. It removes people who do not deserve to walk into your next season. It allows endings not to punish you, but to free you. You are not being punished when things fall apart. You are being realigned. You are not being forgotten when the waiting feels long. You are being refined. The pain you feel now is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that something deeper is unfolding. The plan may not be visible yet, but that does not mean it is not in motion. Just because you cannot trace the path does not mean there isn't one. When a door closes, the universe does not slam it to be cruel. It shuts it gently, often because what is behind that door no longer fits who you are becoming. When someone walks away, it may be because their chapter in your story has ended, and clinging to them would only slow your growth. What the universe takes away, it does so with the intention of replacing it with something that aligns with your purpose. The truth is, you were not meant to settle. You were not made for halfway dreams or almost love. You were not sent here to shrink. You were sent here to rise. The universe sees that in you even when you forget, and that is why it interrupts your comfort. That is why it pushes you into the unknown. That is why it sometimes closes doors you thought you needed, because it knows the full map when you only see a corner. So hold on even when you do not understand. Keep going even when the path is unclear. You are not being abandoned, you are being directed. You are not being broken, you are being shaped. And even if it hurts right now, know that the plan is not to harm you. It is to lift you, to teach you, to bring you into the fullness of everything you are meant to become. Trust that. Trust the journey. Trust the universe. There is a quiet wisdom in the way the universe moves. It does not shout, it does not rush, it unfolds in silence, in patterns we often miss, in delays we mistake as defeat, in endings that feel more like punishment than purpose. But the truth is, every delay, every detour, every ending is a hidden part of a greater design. We just do not always recognize it in the moment. Sometimes we think life should move in a straight line. We believe success should follow effort and love should follow loyalty. We believe if we do things right, life will reward us immediately. But the universe does not answer to our clocks or calendars. It follows its own rhythm. It is not working against you. It is working beyond you. The timing you resist today might be the very timing that saves you tomorrow. You may feel like life has passed you by, like everyone else has found their path, while you are stuck in circles. But circles are not dead ends. They are sacred. They are where we return to remember. They are where we are asked to slow down, to listen deeper, to grow roots before we grow wings. A detour is not failure. It is preparation. It is where you gather strength, where you uncover pieces of yourself that you would never find on a smooth and perfect road. Sometimes the universe sends you down a path you never planned so you can find the truth you never knew you needed. The dream that didn't work out may have saved you from something that would have cost you your peace. The relationship that ended may have taught you your worth. The delay that frustrated you may have protected you from a version of life too small for your spirit. But you cannot see all of that in the moment. You only see what feels lost. You only feel what is missing. We are taught to celebrate beginnings. We are taught to fear endings. But endings are not cruel. They are crucial. They clear the way. They close what no longer serves you. They burn away the false so the real can rise. It is not weakness to let go. It is courage. And the universe honors courage. It honors every time you choose truth over comfort, every time you walk away from what no longer fits your soul, every time you release what you thought you needed so you can make room for what you truly deserve. The pieces of your life may not look like they fit right now, but give it time. Give the universe space to show you how it all connects. That heartbreak may lead you to purpose. That silence may be where your power is born. That waiting room may be the birthplace of the next beautiful chapter. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. Nothing is for nothing. So the next time life slows you down or turns you in a direction you did not expect, take a breath, step back, and remember that this too is part of the design. This too has meaning. You are not lost. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be for the next piece of the plan to unfold. Let that truth carry you through the detours, the delays, and the endings. Let it remind you that what is meant for you is not gone. It is simply on its way in a form and timing greater than you could ever imagine. It's easy to look around and feel like you're falling behind. The world moves so fast. People post their wins and their smiles, and you wonder why your moment hasn't come yet, why the thing you've been working for is still out of reach, why the love you've been hoping for hasn't arrived, why the door you keep knocking on refuses to open. But let me remind you gently and firmly, you are not behind. You are being prepared for what is already written for you. There is a sacred patience in the plan of the universe. It never delivers too early, and it never arrives too late. It comes exactly when you are ready. Not when you say you're ready, but when your soul has learned what it must learn to carry the blessing without breaking. You may not see the preparation happening, but it is. In the quiet, in the struggle, in the waiting, the universe is shaping you, softening your fear, deepening your courage, stretching your faith. We often confuse stillness with stagnation and waiting with failure, but nothing could be further from the truth. A seed buried beneath the soil does not grow in silence because it is lazy. It grows because the ground is doing its work, because the roots are learning how to hold firm before the bloom. That is what your waiting season is. It's not wasted time. It's your root work. It's your becoming. Sometimes what we think we're ready for would actually break us. Sometimes our hearts still carry wounds too fresh, fears too loud, or attachments too heavy to welcome the next level of life. And the universe, in its great mercy, doesn't hand us what we want right away. It waits. It waits for us to be stronger, keener, clearer. It waits until we no longer beg for the wrong things. It waits until our yes is true and our no is steady. It waits until we can hold joy with gratitude, not desperation. The truth is, what is meant for you is already written in the stars. It's not a question of if, it's only a matter of when. That purpose, that relationship, that dream is not something you have to chase down with exhaustion. You simply have to become the version of yourself who is ready to receive it. And that becoming takes time. It takes lessons. It takes falling and rising. It takes nights of doubt and mornings of faith. It takes trusting the process even when you cannot trace the path. You are not behind. You are being polished. You are being refined like gold in fire. You are being readied so that when the moment comes, you will not shrink from it. You will step into it with grace, with strength, with knowing. And when you look back, you will see why it took so long, why the wait was necessary, why the detour was protection, why the ending was mercy. You will see that every unanswered prayer was a deeper yes in disguise. So be gentle with yourself. Don't measure your journey with someone else's ruler. Don't rush what needs time to bloom. Keep showing up for your life. Keep growing in the dark. Keep trusting that what's meant for you is not passing you by. It's being saved for the version of you that is ready to carry it with power and peace. That version is on the way. And so is everything written in your name. Sometimes life feels like it's unraveling right in your hands. The dreams you cradled so carefully begin to fall apart. The people you counted on slowly drift away. The plans you made with such hope crumble in front of you like dust. In those moments, it's easy to think something has gone wrong. Easy to believe that you've been forgotten, punished, left behind. But what feels like falling apart is often the universe rearranging things for your highest good. You may not recognize it at first. You may call it loss, heartbreak, failure, but later, perhaps much later, you will see how it all had to happen that way. The relationship that ended may have made room for a deeper kind of love. The job that didn't work out may have pushed you to discover a hidden gift. The breakdown you thought would break you became the moment you finally saw yourself clearly. When the pieces fall, it's not always destruction. Sometimes it's divine reorganization. We live in a world that tells us to hold everything together, to keep smiling, to keep going, to keep everything looking right. But the truth is, growth is messy. Real transformation does not come dressed in ease. It comes in the form of endings that don't make sense yet. It comes through people leaving who were never meant to stay. It comes through disappointment that cracks your heart just enough for the light to finally enter. The universe is not punishing you when life becomes unrecognizable. It is helping you shed what you've outgrown. It is clearing paths you were too afraid to leave. It is removing the familiar so you can step into the unknown, because the unknown, as scary as it may be, is where your next chapter lives. The plan is not to break you, it is to rebuild you stronger, softer, wiser, truer. And sometimes we would never let go unless we were forced to. Sometimes we would stay too long in places that no longer nourish us if the walls didn't fall down. That's why the universe allows the shaking. That's why the rug is pulled out from under us at just the right time, not to harm us, but to wake us up, to guide us back to alignment, to remind us that we were never meant to settle for a half-lived life. You are not being punished when things come undone. You are being set free. You are being redirected to something more honest, more powerful, more in tune with the person you are becoming. And though the process hurts, though the tears may fall and the nights may stretch long, you are not alone in it. The universe is with you, whispering quietly, this too is part of the plan. Trust that. Trust that the chaos has a purpose, that the silence carries messages, that the pieces falling are not the end, they are the beginning of something better. What you thought was falling apart was really falling into place. And though you may not see it now, one day you will look back and realize you were never being destroyed, you were being rebuilt into the person you were always meant to be. There will be days when the silence feels deafening, when prayers seem to echo into empty skies, when nothing moves, nothing shifts, and every door stays firmly shut. In those moments, it's easy to feel abandoned, easy to believe that the universe has forgotten your name. But the truth, the deeper truth, is that the universe is never still without reason. Trust the pauses, the silence, and the unanswered prayers. They carry divine timing. We are taught to chase, to push, to make things happen. We are conditioned to believe that if something is not moving forward, it must be stuck. But stillness is not stuckness. Silence is not absence. The universe does some of its most profound work in the quiet. When nothing is happening on the outside, everything is unfolding on the inside. Your strength is growing, your clarity is forming, your path is being cleared. You may not see the shifting beneath the surface, but it is there. Like seeds growing roots before they bloom, like tides changing direction in the deep before reaching the shore. The universe works in invisible spaces, in unseen hours, in silent seasons. That pause you're in, it's not a punishment, it's preparation. The silence you fear is the space where your next chapter is quietly writing itself. Unanswered prayers often carry the most mercy, because sometimes what you're asking for is too small. Sometimes your vision is built from pain, from fear, from what you think you deserve instead of what you are truly meant for. And so the universe waits. It withholds not to deny you, but to protect you, to guide you towards something that matches your soul, not just your longing. There is a sacred patience in divine timing. You may feel ready now, but readiness is not just about desire. It's about alignment. It's about having the heart, the wisdom, the perspective to handle what's coming, the love you want, the success you seek, the peace you crave. These things come not when you force them, but when you become the person who can receive them with grace. In the silence, ask yourself, not what's missing, but what's being made ready. What is life asking me to learn here? What part of me is being called to grow? Often, the greatest breakthroughs are born in the quiet, when you sit with yourself and listen, when you stop striving and start surrendering, when you let go of timelines and trust the timing. We often want everything quickly, cleanly, clearly. But the universe is an artist, not a machine. It paints with patience, it sculpts with care. It adds layers we cannot yet see until the full picture is revealed. The waiting is not wasted, the stillness is not in vain. Something is forming and it will arrive when it is ready, and when you are too. So if you are in a pause right now, do not lose heart. Let the silence be your teacher. Let the unanswered prayer be your guide. Let the delay be your protection. Everything meant for you is still coming right on time, not a moment early, not a breath too late. Just in time for you to meet it with open hands, steady spirit, and a heart full of quiet, powerful knowing. Fear will try to hurry you. It will whisper that time is running out, that you must do something now, that you are being left behind. It will press on your chest like a weight and convince you to chase things that are not meant for you, simply because they seem close, familiar, or safe. But that's not the voice you were born to follow. That is not the energy you were created to live by. The plan of the universe unfolds when you choose faith over fear and patience over pressure. Faith is not loud, it does not make demands or draw attention to itself. It is quiet but powerful. It sits beside you in the dark and reminds you to keep breathing. It tells you that even if you cannot see the road, there is still one ahead. It reminds you that even if things are not happening on your schedule, they are still happening. Faith is not about knowing every answer. It is about trusting the story, even when you are only holding one torn page. We are surrounded by noise, expectations that shout, voices that rush, a culture that says if you are not moving fast, you are not moving at all. But the universe does not honor pressure. It honors presence. The ones who walk in purpose do not move in panic. They listen to their inner knowing. They allow time to do its work. They do not fear the silence because they understand that the silence is sacred. Patience is not passive. It is not sitting and waiting with empty hands. It is active trust. It is deep knowing. It is continuing to water your soul, your work, your vision, even when there are no signs of growth. It is choosing not to settle just because the waiting hurts. It is standing in your truth even when everything around you tells you to compromise. And that kind of patience, that kind of inner strength aligns you with the flow of the universe. When you chase what is not meant for you, life feels heavy. Doors do not open. Joy feels temporary. But when you act in faith, when you honor divine timing, things begin to align in ways you could never plan. You meet the right people without forcing connection. You walk into the right opportunities without knocking on the wrong doors. You begin to live not in reaction, but in rhythm. Fear says, what if it never happens? Faith says, what if it's already on the way? Fear says, you're not enough. Faith whispers, you've always been enough, and you're still becoming more. Fear pushes. Faith guides. Pressure crushes. Patience shapes. And the universe, in all its ancient wisdom, always leans toward those who choose faith, who trust the process, who do not let fear drive their decisions or allow pressure to define their pace. You were never meant to rush. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to grow, to evolve, to unfold in your own time. And as you choose faith again and again, as you wait with peace instead of panic, you begin to see how the universe gently lays the path beneath your feet. Not all at once, not in a flash, but step by step, layer by layer, truth by truth. Let go of the pressure to have it all figured out. Release the fear that makes you run. Choose faith, not just once, but daily. Let patience be your posture and watch as everything meant for you finds its way right on time, in perfect alignment with the plan that has always been written in your name. So as you walk through your days, through the silence, the detours, the delays, and the waiting, remember this truth deeply. The universe is not working against you, it is working through you. Every moment, even the ones that feel like they're falling apart, are carefully woven into the greater design of your life. Trust what doesn't make sense yet. Believe in what you cannot see. Stand still when needed. Move with purpose when called, and know in your soul that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. May your heart stay open, your faith stay strong, and your patience become your quiet power. What is meant for you will never miss you, and it is already on its way. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for trusting these words and for believing in the plan that was always meant for you. Dear sisters, there is a certain magic in a woman who chooses to walk her own road. A power not borrowed from another, not shaped by someone else's hand, but carved by her own will and her own daring spirit. Imagine her rising each morning with no one's shadow stretching across her path, no weight of expectation pressing down on her shoulders. She belongs to herself, and that is where her strength is born. When a woman lives alone and walks without the grasp of boyfriends or the clamor of temporary love, she begins to learn the music of her own soul. She listens to the sound of her laughter echoing through empty rooms, and she knows it is enough. She feels her tears slide down her cheek, and she knows she has the courage to wipe them away. She dances in her kitchen without anyone watching, and she knows her joy does not need to be approved or applauded. There is greatness in such a woman because she is not afraid of her own company. She is not running from silence. She does not tremble in solitude. She wears it as a crown that cannot be stolen, cannot be traded, cannot be diminished. She learns to cook for one, to dream for one, to build for one, and in doing so, she builds a kingdom inside her heart that no man can topple. There is something profoundly beautiful about a woman who learns to love her own company. In a world that often tells her she is incomplete, until she belongs to someone else. She dares to belong to herself. She steps into her own presence and finds it is not an empty space but a sanctuary. When the rooms echo with silence, she does not hear loneliness, she hears truth. When she sits with herself, she does not feel abandoned, she feels whole. To love her own company is to discover the music within her soul, a song no one else can compose, no one else can silence. When she begins to embrace her solitude, she realizes she has been carrying a voice inside her all along, a voice that was sometimes drowned out by the noise of others, the demands of the world, or the distractions of shallow companionship. Living alone allows her to finally listen. She listens to her own laughter and feels its authenticity. She listens to her own doubts and learns to answer them with courage. She listens to her dreams whispering softly and understands that they have always been waiting for her attention. There is no longer a need to perform, no longer a pressure to impress, no longer a hunger for constant approval. In her own company, she discovers that she is enough. Not because someone else says so, but because she knows so. She can cook a meal just for herself and find joy in the aroma filling her kitchen. She can read a book until midnight without explaining why. She can stand by the window in the early morning, holding a cup of tea, and feel that the moment is hers and hers alone. These small, ordinary acts turn into sacred rituals of self-discovery, and each one reminds her of the beauty of being with herself. Some may look at her life and call it lonely, but they cannot see the treasure she has uncovered in the quiet. She has learned to be her own friend, her own comforter, her own encourager. She can wipe her own tears and still rise with dignity. She can celebrate her victories without waiting for applause. She can sit in silence and not feel afraid. That is not loneliness, that is liberation. It is the gift of knowing she does not need another presence to make her feel alive. In her own company, she discovers power, a power that grows not from being held, but from standing strong, a power that glows not from being chosen, but from choosing herself. She comes to see that she does not need someone beside her to validate her beauty, her brilliance, or her worth. She is the mirror that reflects her own strength. She is the voice that speaks life into her own heart. And in that discovery, she carries herself with a grace that cannot be shaken, with a confidence that cannot be taken, with a spirit that cannot be broken. When she loves her own company, she no longer seeks relationships out of fear of being alone. She seeks only what adds to her light, what respects her soul, what honors her truth. She does not cling to shallow promises or settle for half-hearted love, because she knows she already holds the fullness of love within herself. She does not compromise her peace to keep someone beside her. She does not silence her truth to please another. She does not trade her freedom for fleeting comfort. Her voice grows stronger each day she walks this path. She speaks with clarity because she has learned to listen. She makes choices with courage because she has practiced trusting herself. She dreams without hesitation because she has created space to hear the call of her own destiny. And in doing so, she inspires others, not by needing to prove anything, but simply by being everything she already is. So when a woman learns to love her own company, she is no longer afraid of silence, no longer afraid of solitude, no longer afraid of being misunderstood. She is not waiting to be completed. She is already whole. She is not waiting for love to knock at her door. She has found love in her own reflection. She is not waiting for life to begin. She is living it fully in her own strength, her own wisdom, her own light. Independence is a teacher unlike any other. And when a woman chooses to live alone without boyfriends, she enters a classroom that shapes her spirit in ways she never imagined. She learns resilience not from the comfort of being carried, but from the strength of standing on her own 2 feet. There is no one to fix what is broken for her, no one to take away the burden of responsibility, no one to shield her from the sharp winds of life. And yet, she discovers that she is not fragile, she is not weak. She is capable of building, mending, thriving, and rising, even when the weight seems unbearable. It begins with the smallest acts. She pays her own bills with the money she has earned, and there is pride in knowing her life is sustained by her own effort. She carries groceries home, heavy in her hands, yet light in her spirit, because each step reminds her that she provides for herself. She changes the light bulb, repairs the leaking tap, sweeps the floor, and arranges her space with her own touch. At first, these tasks may seem trivial, but they become sacred affirmations of her resilience. They say to her again and again, you can do this, you can survive, you can thrive. When difficulties rise, as they always do, she does not crumble. There may be nights when she feels the weight of the world pressing against her chest, when tears fall freely because no one is there to listen. But those tears become seeds, watering her strength, helping her grow roots so deep that storms cannot uproot her. She learns to hold herself steady, to gather her courage in the silence, to whisper prayers in the darkness, and rise again in the morning with fresh determination. Resilience is not about never falling, it is about never staying down. And she learns this truth with every challenge she faces alone. There is also freedom in her resilience. She does not have to wait for someone else to solve her problems, to rescue her from hardship, or to make decisions on her behalf. She becomes the leader of her own life, the architect of her future, the guardian of her peace. And in that independence, she finds power, power that cannot be handed to her by another, power that cannot be taken away. It is a power forged in responsibility, sharpened by struggle, and polished by persistence. Some might wonder if she grows weary of always being strong, but she knows that strength does not mean hardness. It means endurance. It means learning to bend without breaking, to rest without quitting, to hope without fear. She does not need to pretend that life is easy. She simply trusts that life cannot defeat her. And that trust becomes the foundation of her resilience. Living alone teaches her to measure her success not by comparison, not by validation, but by her own quiet victories. She takes joy in the way she handles her business, the way she keeps her balance when the world tries to push her over. She smiles when she remembers the battles she thought she could never fight, yet she fought and won. She remembers the nights she thought she would not endure, yet she endured and grew. And those memories fuel her spirit, reminding her that she is capable of far more than she once believed. Resilience also changes the way she loves. She no longer clings to relationships out of fear, no longer accepts mistreatment just to avoid being alone. She knows that she can survive without anyone, so she chooses only connections that nurture her soul. Her independence does not close her heart, it strengthens it. It teaches her that love should be a gift, not a crutch, an addition to her life, not a replacement for her strength. This resilience is visible to those who meet her. They see it in her walk, steady and unhurried. They hear it in her voice, calm and assured. They feel it in her presence, radiant and unshaken. She does not boast, she does not shout, but her very existence speaks a message: I have built my life, and I continue to build. I have faced storms, and I continue to stand. A woman who has learned resilience through independence cannot be diminished. She knows that she can build again if everything falls apart, that she can rise again if she is ever pushed down, that she can create again even from nothing. Her strength is not borrowed, it is her own. And with every challenge, with every trial, with every solitary victory, she becomes unbreakable. She who wears solitude as a crown knows a freedom that many never touch. While others may tremble in the quiet, or rush to fill every silence with company. She walks calmly into her own stillness and finds peace waiting there. Solitude is not her enemy. It is her sanctuary. It is the space where she gathers her thoughts, tends to her spirit, and strengthens her soul. She is not desperate for noise or distracted by shallow conversations because she has discovered the beauty of being at home with herself. When she sits alone in her room, she does not feel forgotten. She feels embraced by the calm. She lights a candle, plays soft music, or simply listens to the beating of her own heart. And in those moments, she knows she is not lacking. She has everything she needs within her. The world may tell her that happiness is found in the arms of another, that validation must come from love offered by someone else. But she has learned the deeper truth. Peace begins inside, not outside. Joy blooms when she waters her own garden. Wholeness is not a gift given by another soul. It is a treasure she uncovers within herself. To wear solitude as a crown is to walk through life without fear of being unseen. She does not need constant attention to prove her worth. She does not need the applause of others to feel alive. She does not need companionship to feel important. She already knows her value, and she carries it with her quietly, confidently, like a jewel resting on her head. That crown does not slip when people leave her. It does not break when relationships fade. It does not dim when she walks into a room alone. It shines brighter because it has been placed there by her own hand. Living without boyfriends gives her the chance to build a relationship with her own soul, and in that relationship she discovers balance. She learns to forgive herself for mistakes, to celebrate herself for victories, to guide herself with wisdom. She is not waiting for someone else to fix her. She does not believe she is broken. She understands that life will bruise her, but it cannot diminish her. Each wound heals and makes her crown sit higher. Each tear strengthens her resolve. Each challenge deepens her peace. Solitude is often mistaken for emptiness, but she proves otherwise. She fills her days with meaning. She works with passion. She creates with joy. She prays with reverence. She rests with contentment. Her solitude is not silence. It is a conversation with the universe, a dialogue with her inner self, a communion with her deepest truths. When she walks through the world with her crown of solitude, she radiates assurance, a quiet confidence that draws others near even though she does not seek them. What makes her powerful is that she does not chase peace, she carries it. She does not beg for respect, she embodies it. She does not demand validation, she knows she is enough. In the calm of her solitude, she hears her purpose calling. She dreams bigger because she is not afraid of the space between her and the dream. She moves with grace because she is not hurried by the need to please others. She grows with strength because her foundation is not built on fragile attention, but on her own unshaken presence. Her crown of solitude teaches her discernment. She knows the difference between a relationship that enriches her and one that drains her. She does not cling to connections for the sake of avoiding loneliness. She is not swayed by empty words or shallow promises. Her peace is too precious, her freedom too valuable, her crown too sacred to be placed in unworthy hands. She welcomes love if it comes, but she does not fear its absence, because she has already crowned herself with something greater, inner harmony. And when others look at her, they see a woman who does not need to be rescued. They see a woman who does not wait to be chosen. They see a woman who belongs to herself and shines because of it. She is not restless. She is not desperate. She is not searching for completion. She has already found it in her solitude, in her stillness, in her unwavering embrace of her own life. Her worth is not defined by relationships, nor is it measured by who holds her hand or whispers her name. Her worth is born from within, shaped by the strength of her own vision and the choices she dares to make A woman living alone without boyfriends stands as living proof that value does not come from being attached to another soul, but from walking with certainty in her own. She does not need to be chosen to feel significant. She has already chosen herself, and in that decision lies a freedom that cannot be compared. From an early age, the world often tries to tell her otherwise. It whispers that her beauty is validated by admiration, that her joy is complete only when shared romantically, that her identity is tied to someone else's approval. Yet she defies those expectations. She knows she is not half of a whole, not waiting for completion. She is whole already. She is the dreamer and the dream, the builder and the foundation, the question and the answer. She can walk into a room alone and still command its energy, not because someone claims her, but because she claims herself. Her vision becomes her compass. She does not waste her strength chasing temporary affection or bending herself to fit into someone else's story. She sees her life as her own masterpiece, and she paints it with bold colors. Her choices are hers, her direction is hers, and her future is hers. She may stumble, she may fall, but she does not let those moments define her. What defines her is her courage to rise again, to keep walking, to keep believing that her worth is not negotiable. When a woman stands firm in her own vision, the world begins to notice her differently. She is not defined by titles given to her by others. She is not labeled by her relationship status. She is not praised or dismissed based on who walks beside her. Instead, she is seen for her determination, her grace, her intellect, her heart. She is seen for the way she carries herself with dignity even in solitude, for the way she dares to dream without permission, for the way she builds her life with hands steady and unafraid. Her choices reflect her power. She does not settle for less than she deserves, because she understands that compromising her worth for temporary comfort is too heavy a price. She does not silence her voice just to keep peace, because her truth matters. She does not shrink to fit into someone else's idea of love, because she knows love without respect is not love at all. Instead, she makes choices that honor her growth, that protect her peace, that nurture her spirit. Every decision becomes an affirmation: I am valuable, I am worthy, I am enough. Living without boyfriends does not mean her life is lacking. It means her life is free of illusions that her worth is tied to validation. It means she has room to grow into herself, to pursue the dreams that others might have asked her to set aside, to walk the paths that lead her toward fulfillment rather than distraction. She learns that she is more than capable of creating joy for herself, more than capable of filling her days with meaning, more than capable of building a life so rich in purpose that no relationship could ever define her. Her worth also gives her the courage to inspire others. She becomes an example to those who have forgotten their value, a reminder that you do not need to be loved by another to love yourself deeply. Her life becomes a testimony that independence is not emptiness, that solitude is not weakness, that self-respect is the highest form of strength. When others see her, they see a woman who honors herself enough not to be defined by external measures. The crown she wears is invisible, but it shines brighter than gold. It is the crown of self-recognition, the crown of vision, the crown of choice. No one can strip it from her, because no one gave it to her. She placed it there herself, and she carries it with every step she takes. Solitude has a way of shaping a woman into her truest form. When she lives alone without boyfriends, she is given the rare gift of space, and in that space, she finds room to grow. Growth does not happen in constant noise. It happens in the quiet moments when she can hear her own thoughts, when she can feel her own desires, when she can begin to understand who she truly is. She learns that solitude is not emptiness. It is fertile soil, And in that soil, dreams take root, ideas blossom, and strength begins to rise. She discovers that being alone does not mean being abandoned. It means she has been entrusted with herself. She learns to spend time in her own company without running from it, to walk into silence and not shrink, to face her own reflection and not turn away. In those still hours when no one is calling, when no one is texting, when no one is knocking, she meets the most important person she will ever know, herself. She listens to the voice that was often drowned out by the distractions of companionship, and she realizes that this voice is wise, steady, and deserving of attention. Growth nurtured by solitude is different from growth demanded by the world. It is not rushed. It is not forced. It is gentle, deep, and lasting. She learns patience. She understands that she does not need to have all the answers immediately. She can take her time to heal from what has hurt her, to forgive herself for what has passed, to prepare for what is yet to come. In solitude, she finds that there is no competition, no race, no deadline pressing against her spirit. There is only the steady unfolding of her becoming. As she grows, she dares to dream bigger. She begins to see visions of what her life could be without the limitations placed upon her by others. She imagines possibilities that once felt too far, too high, too heavy, and because she has no one to tell her she cannot, she allows herself to believe she can. In the quiet, she writes plans. In the quiet, she speaks affirmations. In the quiet, she breathes life into her hopes. Those dreams are no longer whispers ignored in the background. They are songs rising in her chest, guiding her forward with clarity and fire. Solitude also strengthens her resilience. She encounters challenges, but she faces them with courage because she knows there is no one else to lean on. Each obstacle becomes a lesson, each setback a chance to rise again, each tear a testament to her endurance. She learns that she can be her own support, her own strength, her own protector. And with each victory, no matter how small, her confidence deepens. She begins to trust herself, to believe in her abilities, to rely on her inner wisdom. That trust becomes unshakable because it is built not on words, but on lived experience. This growth nurtured in solitude changes the way she views relationships and love. She no longer seeks to be completed by another because she knows she is already whole. She does not chase after attention because she has learned to give attention to her own needs. She does not cling out of fear of being alone because she has discovered that solitude is not something to fear, but something to embrace. If love comes, it will be a choice, not a necessity. If companionship arrives, it will be welcomed, but not worship. Her growth has taught her that love should add to her life, not define it. And when she steps out into the world, others can see the difference. She walks with steadiness, with grace, with a quiet fire in her eyes. She does not need to announce her strength. It radiates naturally. She does not need to prove her worth. It speaks for itself. Her solitude has sculpted her into a woman who knows who she is, who knows what she carries, who knows that her life has meaning whether or not anyone else acknowledges it. The space she once feared is now the space she cherishes. The silence she once thought heavy is now the silence that heals. The solitude she once resisted is now the solitude that has become her greatest teacher. And in this journey, she has grown into someone who cannot be shaken, someone who cannot be diminished, someone who rises in her own light. She discovers in her journey that the richest love of all is the love she learns to give to herself. For too long, the world told her that love must come from someone else, that it must be proven by gestures, by promises, by another person's presence. But when she lives alone without boyfriends, she comes to understand that love is not something to chase. It is something to cultivate within. This kind of love does not fade when someone walks away. It does not depend on approval. It does not need to be earned. It is already hers, waiting to be embraced. Self-love becomes her anchor. It steadies her in the storms of life, reminding her that she is deserving of care, that her heart is worthy of tenderness, that her dreams are worthy of pursuit. It speaks to her when the world is silent. It comforts her when no one else is near. It assures her that she does not have to prove her worth, for she is already enough. This love is not fragile, it is unbreakable. It grows deeper each time she chooses herself, each time she honors her needs, each time she stands firm in her truth. She learns to care for her body with gentleness. She does not wait for someone else to call her beautiful. She looks into the mirror and sees beauty in her reflection. She sees the strength in her shoulders, the light in her eyes, the wisdom etched into her face. She treats her body with kindness, feeding it with nourishment, resting it with patience, moving it with grace. She does not harm herself with comparison because she knows no one else carries what she carries. Her beauty is hers alone, unique and unrepeatable, and she celebrates it without needing applause. She also learns to care for her spirit. She spends time in reflection, in prayer, in meditation, in whatever way allows her to hear the quiet voice inside her. She speaks words of encouragement to herself, words she once longed to hear from others, but now realizes she can give freely to her own soul. She whispers, "You are strong, you are worthy, you are loved." And those words become her daily nourishment, her inner shield, her source of courage. Self-love does not make her arrogant, it makes her whole. It does not blind her to others, it allows her to love them more freely because she is not empty, not desperate, not clinging. She can give without losing herself. She can care without being consumed. She can love without fear of being unloved in return. For she knows that love begins within her, and she will never run out of what she has already planted in her own heart. This love fuels her confidence. She walks into the world with assurance, not because life is easy, but because she trusts herself to face it. She speaks with clarity, not because everyone will agree, but because she values her own voice. She dares to dream, not because success is guaranteed, but because she loves herself enough to try. Her confidence does not shout, it shines. It does not demand, it inspires. It does not boast. It simply exists, steady and undeniable. Self-love also protects her. She no longer entertains relationships that drain her, no longer accepts treatment that disrespects her, no longer lowers her standards for the sake of fleeting affection. She knows what she deserves, and she knows she can stand alone until what she deserves arrives. She does not compromise her peace, because her love for herself is too deep to allow harm. She is not hardened, but she is wise. She is not closed off, but she is discerning. She is not unloving, but she is unwilling to trade her dignity for temporary comfort. Others may look at her and wonder how she shines so brightly, how she carries herself with such certainty. The truth is simple. She has learned to love herself fully. That love is not dependent on whether someone calls her in the evening or holds her hand in the street. It is not measured by romantic gestures or fleeting companionship. It is measured by the way she respects herself, the way she cares for herself, the way she chooses herself day after day. This self-love is not just a feeling. It is her power. It is her foundation, her strength, her unshaken truth. And it is the richest love she will ever know. Her freedom becomes her light, and it shines in ways that cannot be hidden. A woman who lives alone without boyfriends learns early that freedom is not simply the absence of ties, it is the presence of choice. She wakes each day knowing her life belongs to her, that every step she takes is guided by her own heart, that every decision is made without the weight of another's expectations pressing her down. This freedom is not empty, it is rich. It is the soil where her joy grows, the fire that fuels her courage, the light that guides her way. She discovers freedom in the small details of her days. She can choose how to spend her time, whether in deep work, in quiet rest, or in joyous play. She can choose to travel, to learn, to explore, to create, without waiting for someone's approval or adjusting to someone else's plans. Her mornings are hers, her evenings are hers, her life is hers. And in claiming it fully, she finds a peace that many never experience. This peace is not fragile, it is steady, because it is rooted in her ability to direct her own path. Her light shines brightest because it is born from authenticity. She does not need to bend herself into shapes that please others, does not need to silence her truth to keep love near, does not need to dim her brilliance to avoid making someone else uncomfortable. She is free to speak, to stand, to shine exactly as she is. And the beauty of this freedom is that it does not take away from others. It only adds. Her presence becomes a source of inspiration, a reminder that true light is never borrowed, it is cultivated from within. This freedom also allows her to see herself clearly. Without the distraction of constant validation, she begins to understand her true strengths and her hidden weaknesses. She works on herself not because someone demands it, but because she desires it. She grows in wisdom, in patience, in resilience, because she is free to focus on her own journey. And as she grows, her light becomes steady, not flickering with the rise and fall of relationships, but constant like the sun, radiating regardless of who chooses to notice. Her completeness is not a question anymore. It is her reality. She does not live in halves, waiting for another half to arrive. She is already whole, already enough, already radiant in her own being. This completeness means she can engage with the world from a place of abundance rather than lack. She does not need to cling to anyone to feel secure, does not need to grasp for attention to feel alive, does not need to lose herself to feel love. Her love for herself and her freedom to live as she chooses are the sources of her fullness. Freedom also teaches her discernment. She learns that not every hand offered is worth holding. Not every voice calling deserves her attention. Not every presence deserves her energy. Because she is complete on her own, she does not settle for less than respect, less than kindness, less than truth. Her freedom protects her from the temptation to accept anything just to fill a space. She knows her light is not dimmed by standing alone, and she refuses to let anyone who does not honor it step into her life. Others notice the glow around her, though she does not seek their admiration. They see it in her calm walk, in her confident smile, in her steady voice. They see that she is not desperate, not restless, not uncertain. Her freedom has made her sure, her completeness has made her strong, her light has made her luminous. She does not need to declare it loudly. She simply lives, and in her living, she becomes an example of what it means to be truly free. The power of her life is not in what she lacks, but in what she has embraced. She has embraced her freedom, her peace, her light. And in doing so, she shows the world that a woman does not need to be defined by who stands beside her. She is already radiant standing alone. So when we look at the journey of a woman who lives alone without boyfriends, we see more than solitude. We see power, vision, resilience, and light. She teaches us that silence can be strength, that independence can be joy, that self-love can be the richest form of love, and that freedom can be a crown no one can remove. She is not lacking, she is overflowing. She is not incomplete, she is whole. She is not waiting for her story to begin. She is writing it with every step she takes. And in her walk, she carries a message for all of us. That true power is found when we learn to belong to ourselves. I wish you the courage to embrace your own strength, the patience to honor your growth, and the faith to believe in your worth. May your days be filled with light. May your heart be filled with peace. And may you never forget that you are already enough. Good luck on your journey, and thank you.